Welcome back. You're watching Choice 2017 here on KTN News. Many thanks for staying with us. We are speaking about the politics of the county of Narok, the heartland, the heart of Maasai land. Of course, following two events earlier today where the incoming governor, Samuel Ole Tunai, launched his re-election bid, as well as Patrick Ntutu, Narok West MP, who is also running for the governorship of Narok, who also had a rally in the historic Suso grounds. I have with me Dismas Mokua and Dr. Walter Ongeti. I will also be joined for a few short minutes by Ledama Olekina, senatorial aspirant in the county of Narok. But Dismas, the issue of the Mau Forest Complex, what part is it going to play in terms of deciding which way the Narok people will be looking at going into the elections?
You know, part of the reason why Mr. Raila Odinga lost the last election is about Mau. And Mau is a hot potato and nobody would want to touch it. The moment you start discussing the Mau issue, then you lose all the votes. And I suspect nobody is going to be discussing it during this election. They'd rather focus on the normal issues of clanism and the development agenda. Because the moment you touch on the Mau issue, then you become an outcast and people will be looking at you in a manner suggesting that you don't care for their interest. And you know, for people in this part of the world, they're actually able to see the signs that the Mau forest is affecting them.
Right.
Because, you know, the rivers are beginning to dry, then there's no water for their livestock. So really that is going to be our issue. But the key determinant, I think, in this election is going to be how Jubilee behaves in Narok, and then also how NASA and the Chama Shinani decide to behave, and the role Moi is going to play. So it's going to be a very complicated equation. If, for instance, NASA and CCM agree on one candidate, then that might prove to be a huge challenge for Governor Tunai.
All right.
Governor Tunai now may need to go the extra mile and make sure that he's able to, you know, rally those smaller clans, the Kikuyus, the Kalenjins, to come and vote in his favor. But also there is the fear of the domination by the bigger clan, of the Puruko community. And I suspect during the electoral process, people are allowed to use all manner of propaganda for this.
Let's bring in Dr. Daktari, what is your take on the issue of Mau Forest and the politics of Narok?
I would totally agree with Dismas that this time round, I do not think any of these players will be bringing that on the table. Because of the same reasons that people are looking for votes. But remember, the Mau complex does not touch Narok alone. It also touches on Bomet County on the eastern side, and as well Kericho County and even Nakuru County. So Narok would actually contribute just a little bit. And that group of voters is that group of voters who would largely be the Kipsigis Kalenjin community and whom everybody would be looking for. Remember that if any of these candidates, or all of them share the Ma vote, then the deciding vote would be coming in largely from that side. And so the Mau issue would not be touched at this moment. But remember that at the same time, the Maasai community has been raising concerns around the gazetting of the Ma forest and so forth, and some sections of the same. That is the Maasai Mau. And so it would be an issue that would be an issue which the Jubilee and even NASA may bring on the table, especially in the issue concerning the degazettement and so forth.
Right.
But I do not see it coming in terms of asking people to move out at this particular moment or reforestation.
All right, let's not bring in Ledama Olekina late to the show, but was making his way from Narok. Good evening, sir. Thank you for joining us, even though for a few minutes. We have been speaking about the two sides of the political divide and how they fit into Narok County politics. There is an ODM candidate for the governor's position, there is the incumbent Jubilee, and there is a CCM candidate. What is your insider position on this?
I think, first of all, I would be doing the Maasai community a disservice if I don't respond to the matter that you're talking about in terms of the Mau Forest. And I would disagree with Daktari and my colleague here that no one is going to be talking about Mau Forest. I believe that this is an issue that the Maasai community and also the candidate for ODM is going to be dealing with it and talking about it. Because there's a huge drought in Narok now, and people are dying, cows are dying, and if we don't talk about the Mau Forest, we will suffer. On the issue of the things that will take place during the 27 election in terms of I think the Maasais will vote. I believe that the Maasais will vote for the Maasai candidates. And it is wrong for people to assume that because Tunai today spent almost 100 million shillings, which is public money, to launch his re-election campaign, that will determine, or actually to say that the Kipsigis votes are the deciding votes. Because I think the Maasais are very clear. They have suffered quite a lot. And even though right now we do have two candidates, at the end of the day, the Maasais will choose one candidate whom they believe will be able to defend their interests.
This point is that the larger Purko community has two candidates, and Governor Tunai is hoping to use people who are not from the Maasai community because Narok is a bit cosmopolitan, and that will be to his advantage.
I think what people forget is that we have 7 clans in the Maasai community. Yes, the Purko do have the majority of votes, but the other smaller clans combined, they are also sick and tired of all these problems brought about by Tunai. So they will not be voting for Tunai. I can tell you that, from an insider perspective, from being on the ground. You called me when I was busy in the campaign mode, and I know there was a lot of activities in Narok, but people know that during the campaign period, there's a lot of money which is spent. Like today, everyone who went to Tunai's function was paid 1,000 shillings to be able to go. These functions.
You have evidence.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I will not, facts are very stubborn. And if you call people to come in voluntarily to your meeting, they will not come. Every single public vehicle was hired today. Even vehicles from Kisii were hired.
So you're saying that
so many people.
Because of time, we have like 2 minutes. You're saying that the ground has shifted massively.
The ground has completely shifted. I can tell you that. And I think the Maasais are asking questions. Tunai is saying, I've done this, but people on the ground know the reality of things. If you come and tell me, I've excavated your road, and you haven't, at the end of the day, this time around, the Maasais will elect someone who they believe has their interest at heart.
Do you think the ground has shifted, as Olekina is trying to tell us here, that much?
Not significantly. And obviously, you understand where he's coming from. There is a candidate in this race. And if you study his record in the MA politics in Narok, he's had running issues with Tunai, even before Tunai was sworn in. So again, it would be unfair for you to expect him to say anything positive around Tunai.
I don't think so.
You're among the first people who took Tunai to court. And,
absolutely.
Yeah, you did that, yeah.
I did.
But when you look at the larger Ma community, and you must not be a member of the Ma community, or you must not come from Narok to understand their politics in a particular manner. I'm a neighbor, I come from a neighboring county, so I understand the issues. And Tunai's biggest advantage is the fear of the Purko, that he'll be able to mobilize the smaller clans and also take advantage of his political party, Jubilee. And for the longest time, he's been accused of not being a Maasai. And the reason why he's saying that is that he wants to bring in the deputy president connection.
All right.
No. I think it is wrong.
Yes,
I don't think you should put anything in my mouth. I can tell you one thing. I'm from a smaller clan, okay? I'm not from the larger Purko. And I can tell you the smaller clans are also unemployed. The smaller clans are always calling for harambes. They're sick and tired of doing that. So I can tell you from an insider perspective, from being someone who is from the Maasai community, that things have shifted.
All right. Final question, gentlemen. Final question, because of time. ODM and NASA, how do they come into play into this? Very quickly. I
can tell you, ODM is the party of choice in Narok. ODM is a child of NASA. And at the end of the day, 99.9% of the Maasais, whether they differ in who they select as their candidate for governor or senatorial, they will all vote for ODM.
All right. I'll let that be the last final comment. Thank you, sir, for a few minutes you've been with us. Ledamo Olekina, senatorial aspirant for the county of Narok, our political analyst Dismas Mokua, and also joining us live from our Kisumu studio, Dr. Walter Ongeti, governance and strategy expert, talking about the politics of the county of Narok, the heart of Maasai land. It is an issue we shall continue. It is a region we shall continue keeping an eye on, the issues that are affecting the people there, the political dynamics as both sides of the political divide try and exert their influence on Maasai land politics. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ben Kitili. Good night from the Standard Group Center. Up next is Yvonne Okwara Matole with Monday Night News. Don't go too far.